All right, new day and another laptop that needs to be saved, and this time we have an Alienware M15 R7. Now this is the Ryzen edition. Now this customer said that it was their son's old laptop that replaced their desktop, and he's been using it for several months, running Linux and things like that, and then one day, it died sitting there on the screen saver. I've been taking a look at this shit. Let's take a look together and see if we can get this figured out. All right, first thing I want to do is see if this thing turns on. I'm gonna press the power button. We're getting no power at all. Not a surprise. Not a surprise at all. Let me reset the power meter and let's plug in the power and just see how much current we are getting here. We definitely want to see a spike of current of some sort. Oh, so we plugged it in. We're getting 0, getting pulled from it, but it is kind of spiking up to something. I'm going to open the lid, press the power button. Nothing's happening. The odds that we have a short on the main power rail is pretty high. So let's open it up and take a look inside. So quick look around, we have the main battery. This is an OEM. It does have the serial number here. The font looks like a normal font here. It does have 2 sticks of DDR5, clean fans. It does have 2 NVMe slots, 2 sticks of RAM here. I'm gonna actually pull out the SSDs while I'm thinking about it. We have the battery unplugged. We're gonna flick it before we fix it. And we got something weird going on right there. We do have some sort of glue here. And I don't know why it's underneath here, because the way this is set up is we have this kind of plate. You can move this over and put it over here, and then it'll take a 2230 size NVMe, or we put it here for a 2280. So I don't see an issue there. And then he was saying something about the Wi-Fi antennas being busted. Looks okay. Maybe they're just hard to pop on. See what type of glue it is. What type of glue are you? All right, so we're gonna do our same test that we did before. I'm not even gonna plug it in. I'm just gonna use our continuity test and try to figure out exactly if there's a short on the input here. So what people? I bet someone was just measuring here with a big voltmeter. This is gonna be positive and this is gonna be negative. So if you put it right here in the middle, then it will short together. I think that's probably what happened. So remember, we're gonna have these bonded together. All these pins are bonded and these are all gonna be the positives, and then all these are gonna be the grounds. You don't wanna measure in the middle on these connectors. You wanna measure more towards one side or more towards the other. That's the same with the battery. If you're gonna measure on the battery connector, same thing. We have these 3 pins on the end, or these 3 pins on the end are gonna be your voltages. Do not measure in the middle, people, okay? But this is not gonna cause the machine not to turn on, so I'm not concerned about it. All right, so we are in continuity mode again. We're just gonna measure to see if we do have a short coming off the DC jack itself, which we don't. Going through these inductors, we don't. And then it's gonna go through a pair of MOSFETs here. We check here, no short, and it looks like there has been some measuring going on here. I suspect we have a short right here, which is the same short we had before, and we do. Hey, what's our measurement, people? Look at the resistance. 0.1. Based on my probes, it's basically 0. My probes may get a little bit lower than that, but I'm gonna say that's a 0 ohm short. And so when we have a 0 ohm short, we could have a shorted capacitor, which would be called a easy pizza or easy burrito, as we like to say it. So we could inject voltage right now, which probably would be okay, and we would do it under the thermal camera and see if we can get some of the heat up. What resistance is your leads? My leads are, in general, right around 0.1 to 0.09. So if I measure right across this, there you go, 0.07. All right, so we're gonna inject some voltage right here. We're gonna monitor it under the thermal camera and see if it will show up there. So it's almost 0, so we just need half a volt or so. We don't need very much when we're injecting onto a near 0 ohm short. And so even at that, we got 5 amps, 6 amps here. This is getting hot here, which is, I think, a current sensor resistor. Where's that at? Right here, I think it's this current sensor resistor right here. So now I'm gonna inject on the current sensor resistor instead, so we'll just bypass that, and I'm gonna make this go down. We don't need 8 amps going through there. There we go. Do you see anything yet? I can't see it. So if you can't see it, we need to pull it apart because I bet it's on the CPU or GPU. How much you want to bet? So it's gonna be on the other side of the board, unfortunately. We do have it off here, so this is gonna be like a 3070, I think. Might be a 3070 Ti even. And then we do have a Ryzen 9. This is the one that usually fails, the Ryzen 9 6900HX. Let's see if this guy's failed. This is the one that failed on the other board. So that MOSFET looks okay, that one looks okay, that one looks okay. So I'm not convinced that it is a MOSFET on the CPU, but we're gonna test. So we're gonna basically check from this power rail. This is the main power rail to ground. So if we check here, we had a short, right? 3 ohms. How do we have a 3 ohm short now to ground? What? Okay, so now I'm just gonna keep my probe here and I'm gonna measure it here. And this is 0. So that means that we have one of these is passing the voltage straight through it, or current. Which one is together? These are all together, and then this one is the integrated graphics. So we have integrated graphics here, and then we have these four are gonna be powering the CPU, and one of these guys are bad. All right, so everyone put their guesses up. So is it PL1, PL2, PL3, or PL4? So you can just put the number in the chat, and then I'm gonna do a bypass method. So we're gonna inject voltage from the main power rail, and then we're gonna bypass to the negative portion of the injection tool to here, and then it will light up the correct one, like a Christmas tree. Y'all just keep dropping those in there until I get this set up. Diode looks bad on one. All right, so I'm gonna take the negative portion. Normally I would take this negative of my voltage injection tool and just hook it to ground on here, like I would do that. And then that would have a path to ground. But if we did the path to ground, it would end up coming this way, going through the CPU back to ground, which I don't wanna do that. I wanna have it where when it comes out of these inductor coils, it will go straight to my negative. So that's why I'm just gonna put it on my negative probe here like this and just gonna poke like that. Now all these are tied together, so it doesn't matter where I put those. And then my other side, we'll just inject a 0.5 volt or 0.4 volts into the main power rail here. Let's see what lights up. Okay, y'all ready? Did everyone kind of get their bets in there? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So you guys pay attention to your horse there. 3, 2, 1. All right, whose horse is number 2? Yep, so this is the one. So we didn't have to inject very much voltage. We kept it safe. We didn't go through the CPU. We didn't damage the CPU. And then when we were testing earlier, we made sure not to put too much voltage through too, to keep it safe. So, doing good. So let me just pull this out of the way. We'll pull that guy off and see how it goes. Let me pull that off of there. Another short somewhere else? I don't think so, but we're gonna check that in a second. Here, I'm gonna pull this off and we'll see if the short is relieved. All right, so the main power rail is no longer shorted. And then our CPU is saying 0.3, but it is jumping back up. It's hot right now, so I'm not worried about it right this second. We'll just have to get a new MOSFET there, but we can go check the main power rail on this side where we started this whole adventure. The short is gone. The short is gone! Will it turn on? Where the MOSFET's at? We'll see if this one has the correct print on it. All right, so we're just gonna pretend this real quick. I can just do this. Twitch, and use your Prime account to subscribe to the Twitch channel, and it basically just gives me a donation. And so so now we'll just do the old tappy. There we go. All right, so we're gonna measure the main power rail now. We don't have a short on the main power rail, so the short is gone. Will it turn on? And then we're gonna check the CPU. It's at 1. It's okay. It was at 3, but because it's still hot, it's, you know. So the question is, do we wanna put it back together and just see if it starts, or do we wanna do a pre-test? I kind of like just putting it together, just raw dog it. All right, so we're just putting a dab of thermal paste on here. Plug in the power. 3, 2, 1. 0. Open the lid. I did not see that coming. What is going on? That's still dead. That doesn't even make sense. We checked to see if the short was gone. Everyone concurred it was gone. So why is it still here? Or why do we still have an issue? Whatever this is, I'm not worried about it. Although we probably should clean it. No short there, no short there. What? What? We still have a short on the main power rail. We checked that. Is it something else I just plugged into the board? We're gonna unplug stuff here because it definitely did not have a short a second ago. It re-shorted itself when it plugged in. Oh my gosh, was it after I put this thing on here? Was it from these? No. I don't think it's the daughter board's not even attached. This other daughter board is, but. Okay, so there is no short on the main power rail that powers the CPU, but there's a short on this power rail? And now this power rail's not shorted. What? This doesn't make sense. I mean, it has to be shorting out to the heatsink or something, but basically, I took the heatsink off, there's no short. Put the heatsink on, there's a short. Okay, so I'm measuring right here, no short. Okay, now I'm gonna put it back on. I don't see anything weird. Metal. We got pads all over all this stuff. I mean, the pads are kind of janky, but I'm not worried about that. Okay, I'm just gonna put one screw in, one measly screw right there, and then let's measure the main power rail again. Has anyone ever seen this before? It's shorted. Bro, I didn't plug in anything. So yeah, we definitely have some sort of heatsink shortage effect going on here. So I only put one screw in this thing too. Dude, what is it touching? All right, we're gonna investigate. I think this is the culprit. What do you think? You think it's this heatsink touching that capacitor right there? And that capacitor is looking very unhappy. We found it. All right, so let's see if we can fix this. It was actually the heatsink's fault. There we go, I just bend this back. There we go, it's just a happy little heatsink. Okay, we're gonna go thermal. Power's plugged in. You guys see anything? It's not powered on yet. Does it have a friendly power button? It does. I'm gonna press this power button on the board. Oh, there it goes. CPU's coming on. Got the power phases coming on. 57, that does not seem like enough. So we do have the 4 power stages coming on. We don't have the iGPU coming on because it's not on yet. And then we don't have any RAM in the board anyway. So we're not gonna be able to turn it on with no RAM in the board. So I say it's turning on now. So I'll just bend this out of the way. We'll have to put new pads on it. I don't think I've ever seen a heatsink short out on the board before. Okay, let's go ahead and plug in the power and keep an eye on the power meter right here. 0.02 is nice. I'm gonna open the lid, see if it powers on. And we do have current. I do have a stick of RAM in there. We do have keyboard backlight. I do have the battery plugged in, so hopefully we'll get some charge current in a moment, but it's gonna go through some sort of CMOS reset to actually start this board up. It does take a little bit of time on these AMDs for the first startup, but as long as this is moving around, I'm happy. So at this point, it does not look like we have a BIOS issue. So if you're looking at this boot up process, look at the amperage. 1.25 amps, okay? So I want you to watch that. And if we keep going through the same cycle over and over again, then we may be stuck somewhere. Now we're up to 2.83 amps, so 50 watts, 60 watts. Okay, now we're in the 3s, that's perfect. Then it should go back down. But if it does that exact same cycle 2 times or 3 times, then we're screwed. Three amps. And we got a picture, I can't believe! I saved another laptop! So that ended up working. Boot the diagnostics real quick. And it does look like SSD is not installed. But let's put an SSD in here and make sure it does boot to a Windows login screen, because a lot of times you do have a CPU failure on these things, and so it won't even boot the Windows. But we do have an error code here. This is gonna be a 3.1 most likely, because we did have a real-time clock got reset. And so let's plug it in. Yeah, 3.1 is what it should be. So I have the machine off, and when it's off, you can plug this in. All right, so it is booting the Windows, which is good. That's what we're looking for. And we're just looking for no blue screens of death or black screens of death. All right, so we booted into the operating system. If we were able to get there, the mouse is working, keyboard's working. I saved another laptop. And so on this type of machine, when you have this issue, it means that there's some sort of heating issue that keeps those MOSFETs cool. I'm gonna make sure to redo their heatsink, make sure we have ample thermal paste, new thermal pads, probably replace the whole heatsink would probably be better in the long run. That will probably prevent it from happening in the future. Pretty nice that we were able to fix that one. Next.
I saved another laptop.